Hi everyone, my name is Gabi, and today I'm going to be talking about Martin Luther from chapter 4. So Martin Luther was born in Eisleben, Germany, and him and his whole family were a part of the Holy Roman Empire. At age 13, he attended a school that was run by the Brethren of the Common Life in Magdeburg, and while he was there, he developed an interest in monastic life. His father had other plans for him, so he took him out of that school and then sent him to a new school in Eisenach to focus on becoming a lawyer. And while he was there, he actually got caught in a really bad thunderstorm and was almost struck by lightning. And so while this was happening, he vowed that if God let him live, he would become a monk. So after he survived, he joined the Augustinian monastery and dropped out of school. He was very private in his early years, so he just focused on life as a monk and also as a scholar. Between 1507 and 1510, he studied at the University of Erfurt and the University of Wittenberg. In 1511, he took a break from his studies and served as a representative in Rome for the German monasteries. And then in 1512, he received his doctorate and then became a professor of biblical studies. And then he continued his theological studies over the next 5 years or so, which led him to a new perspective of Christianity that would change the way people view religion over the next few centuries. During the early 1500s, many theologians and scholars started questioning the teachings of the Catholic Church, and Luther was one that challenged church dogma because he believed in personal religion, and he really felt that everyone should have their own relationship with God. And during this time, the Catholic Church was continuing with the practice of granting indulgences, even though it had been banned in Germany. And indulgence selling was providing absolution to sinners, so basically people were paying to have their sins forgiven. And this was something that Martin very strongly disagreed with because he felt that people should not be able to pay to absolve their sins, nor should they have to. So this led him to write the Disputation on the Power of Efficacy of Indulgences, also known as the 95 Theses. And he went on to post this on the door of the Wittenberg Castle Church, which started the Reformation. The 95 Theses later became the foundation of the Protestant Reformation, and they were written in a way that was intended to question the church rather than accuse them of anything, but regardless, it still provoked a pretty angry response from the church. And the first two of these 95 Theses contained the central idea that God intended believers to seek repentance, and faith alone would lead them to salvation. And the rest of the theses were a combination of supporting that idea and also criticizing the church. And the theses very quickly made their way throughout Germany and then eventually made their way throughout Rome. And the Pope condemned Luther's statements and issued a public decree that his propositions were heretical and gave him 120 days to recant, but he refused, so then he was eventually excommunicated. And after being excommunicated in 1521, he created Protestantism. And this religion focused on promoting a personal relationship with God, so everyone had the right to interpret the Bible on their own. And he also had the Bible translated into German to make it more accessible for everybody. And the religion may have seemed like it was hopeful, but it was actually pretty opposite. It was actually quite strict. And although reason and empirical observation were avoided in this religion, it still challenged church dogma, so it opened a lot of doors for people to ask more questions, which then led to new ideas. And Martin Luther was important because he was one of the most influential people in Western history. His 95 Theses were responsible for creating the divide in the Catholic Church, which started the Protestant Reformation. His teachings shaped the foundation of Protestantism, and although he was quite controversial, his ideas led to a significant shift in religion, which was a very important part of theological history. And something else important that he did was he was a big reason that the Bible was translated and made available to everybody. That is all I have today. Thank you so much for watching.